Look at the foundation stones of the noblest cities, now barely visible. It was anger that toppled them. So said Seneca during the time of the Roman Empire. It's true, and we learned it from Star Wars. This video is a short look at a disagreement between the Jedi and Sith on the usefulness of anger, and a shocking parallel between Star Wars and the writings of Stoic philosopher Seneca.
I can feel your anger. It gives you focus, makes you stronger.
We all know that anger serves as a kind of supercharging force or power-up. Your heart pumps, your fists clench, fear kind of vanishes at the height of anger, and you become something more than what you were before. People have known this for thousands of years, whether it's the Spartan Rage power-up in the God of War video game, or the Stoic writings of Seneca, advisor to Roman Emperor Nero. Seneca said, "Even if anger is unnatural, shouldn't we adopt it because it's useful? After all, it lifts and gives spur to the spirits, and courage achieves no great military feat without it. It provokes us forward."
Don't try it!
Anger is what some psychologists have called a substitute emotion. It's filling in for pain, giving cover to a weakness or injury. Anger is a power-up, and it protects the user by providing a distraction from something else, something horrible. Yoda says that fear leads to anger, then anger leads to hate, and hate leads to suffering. But why? It's because anger is there at the control panel to give cover fire for fear, to take control when fear can no longer push the person forward.
I got something for you to read right here!
Let's just be copper, what's that?
The Sith tell a lie about emotion, one that the Jedi aren't perfect at calling out. The Sith claim they believe in the power and worthiness of emotion, and that their way is to harness emotion to gain strength, power, and freedom, the breaking of chains. But anger is an opioid. It's a pain-killing drug, at least the way that the Sith use it. Think of Darth Vader in his lowest moment, realizing that Padme was dead after all he'd sacrificed to save her life. He went from anger and confusion at first, while Palpatine smiles, but then he sinks back toward despair. Palpatine punishes him in the comics, something that we don't see on screen in Revenge of the Sith. After Vader indulges sadness, he is tortured with Force lightning. Sadness and vulnerability, recognizing pain as valid, that's not the Sith way. Pain is to be identified and transformed. You don't want to live like this. The Jedi's reputation is for suppressing or covering up emotion, keeping it at arm's length so that it can't get a foothold in the Jedi's heart and corrupt their judgment. They know that anger is powerful, but that it makes you sloppy and careless. They know that you can't just call on anger without it calling on you in return at a time that will not be of your choosing. The Jedi believe all emotions are powerful: love, hate, compassion, sorrow, anger. The Sith only believe, however, that some emotions are powerful, and others have to be replaced. They are liars. Let's turn back to Seneca. Some men think it valuable to moderate anger rather than set it aside, to force it to conform to a healthy measure, to restrain its overflows. This is a debate over whether or not you can touch the flame and not be burned. You can see how George Lucas studied world philosophies when he developed Star Wars. And here's where Seneca takes a side, and he would side with the Jedi.
If once you start down the dark path, forever will it dominate your destiny, consume you it will.
Once they've established residence, they become more powerful than their overseer, and do not accept moderation. Here's the bottom line. An alcoholic can't dabble in social drinking.
The problem is, I don't want a drink. I want 10 drinks.
Then why?
Because I'm an alcoholic.
Hard drugs are rewiring the brain to need them in order to go on living. Porn retrains the brain to expect sex to be a very certain way. Abstinence is not weakness or prudishness. It's a deep kind of strength and realism about who and what you are. The answer to all of this is mindfulness. Knowing yourself and your weaknesses, knowing what pulls at you and what doesn't, I'll share a little bit about my own life. I have anger issues, and I have to practice control daily. I've never been attracted to the idea of drug use. I do like alcohol quite a bit and have to be careful with my consumption.
Well, I don't think smoking is grown up at all.
I used to smoke, but nicotine didn't really ever get a hold over me. Quitting cold turkey was oddly easy. First-person shooter video games are highly addicting for me. I love the distraction and mental stimulation overload of video games, and so I have to almost not play at all. Know yourself, and if you are someone who cannot touch a certain flame, don't touch it. That is what freedom is. That is the breaking of chains. No one thinks that a Sith is truly free. Their minds are, as Seneca said, overthrown, enslaved to what drives them, enslaved to anger.